I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
I like to freestyle from time to time, and I'm going to freestyle today because I've already got a few things in mind. The end. Lorne Armstrong poem number 149. What kind of girlfriend does Lorne require? Well, I remember back in junior high, a couple, Tony and Lisa, they spent all of their waking hours together because I think they discovered making out under the bleachers. But it was like they both discovered the opposite sex, hormones kicking in, and they pretty much didn't talk to anyone else unless the other one was sick or unavailable. I do think in Cornville, Maine, wherever Lorne decided he wanted to go to school, I don't even know how much he moved around. I don't trust a word he says. But I don't think Lorne knew what a girlfriend was. The only thing he ever saw were those kinds of couples just sticking together, not talking to anybody else. And I don't see boys where Lorne grew up treating girls very well. He turned out that way. He's not the only one, because the hive mind, especially when I was going middle school, they call it now, when I was going there, we all had kind of the same mentality. We didn't know what a man or someone our age was supposed to act like. We just kind of went up what everybody else did, and unfortunately that was testing the limits, pushing the limits. Some people realized that shouldn't be done, and the rest of us were like, oh cool, well let me try that. Smack! Alright, don't let me try that again. I think Lorne saw whoever, maybe he had a friend like him who was a loner, who didn't have any friends, people didn't want to be around him. I told you, I think the reason he uses the F word, not fuck, but the slang for homosexual, and cocksucker, because he was called all of those names because he didn't have girlfriends. He did not. Never. So I think he was called those names. I think he dreamed of having a girlfriend, and definitely had girls in his head that he was having imaginary relationships with. He would tell his mom, I really like this girl so-and-so. The scary thing about Lorne is the way he goes from catfish to catfish would be the way he went in junior high and high school. Well, she doesn't like me, on to the next one. Well, mom, I'm interested in her, she doesn't like me. Well, I guess I gotta go for Willis, a woman named Willis. We know that Lorne, he doesn't like any non-traditional names. For him to have the name Lorne, it was just so unfortunate. It's so weird to say. It's odd. It's not a cool name like Heath or Merritt. It's Lorne. Lorne. And the way he says it, now that his Mama Gwen was like, Lorne? Almost as bad as having the name Keith. I'm joking. That was a Family Guy joke, a reference there. Lorne desperately needs a girl who can take his obsession. A girl who's willing to accept his world is going to be her. Nobody else, until a woman comes along that says, hey, you want to finally have sex? Lorne needs a woman who's going to take it. Now, I don't mean like that, but it's just going to take his obsession. He needs a woman that every morning is going to wake up and accept his apology and understand that that's just Lorne. He was only mean to me last night because he was drunk. He was only mean to me last night because, well, I didn't do the dishes like he'd been asking me all day. I was busy. I couldn't get to it, and he had every right to be mad at me. So when he was screaming at the top of his lungs in front of my children, because chances are Lorne would not find a normal single woman. It would be a meth head who had kids from other meth heads. And if you're a meth head who has kids from other meth heads, I don't mean to offend you. He needs a woman who sometimes will scream at him, because he needs to feel like I'm not the only one screaming in this relationship. Lorne's passion, as he calls it, Lorne's rage, it needs to be validated. And if all he has is another victim, a female, a victim, that's not going to be good enough for him. Sooner or later, she's going to leave him, if she can, because we know Lorne will make sure she gets in a situation where she has no money. Well, honey, I took $100 out of bank account. I needed to buy a new Sawzall. We're going to build onto this dilapidated trailer that's crumbling around me. I'll pay you back. I'll put the money in next week when I get my money. Honey, I'm not going to be able to put it in this week because I had to, whatever he's going to say. Lorne, you spent $200 on cigarettes and alcohol. You could have used some of that money to pay me back. Well, we're together now, God forbid she drink one beer, because that would be all he needs. All he needs is for her to drink one beer so that he can now scream and yell that she drank beer with him, try to gaslight her. No, you had more than one beer. Well, you at least opened two, because if you open one, you open all of them. That's how Lorne thinks. He needs a woman who's going to stay at home, a homebody, a woman who's not going to talk to anyone else, a woman who's going to lock all the doors and windows for her safety, as Lorne would say. If someone came up to her door, a neighbor, a salesperson, no. Don't open it up, sweetie. You ignore them. You hide. Get in your room right now and hide. It's just the Mormons, Lorne. You don't understand the stories I hear about Mormons. They'll take you and they'll sexually assault you. I just think back to how he told Casey, who he wasn't dating, they didn't have a relationship, they were barely friends, that a male friend sleeping over on her couch is not appropriate. Uber driver. Now, I'm not going to lie and say if I was dating a woman, really dating her, we were serious, and she's been going out with a guy friend more than she's talking to me, there's a problem. We're done. I refuse to put myself in a situation where I'm not comfortable. Maybe I would miss out on a good relationship. Maybe. I know my limits. I know what I will tolerate. Yours are different. Yours may be worse. But I'm pretty sure no guy is going to be okay with that. But if you're just friends, and we know Lorne, if he's interested in you, it's total devotion. You should just forget everybody else. Focus on me, please. Another stipulation is that this woman is not going to be allowed to be on his ass about getting a job. And then down my ass, she's not going to be able to criticize him. Tell him to get a job. Lorne's going to stay off work as long as possible until he absolutely has to go back. Now his girlfriend slash girlfriend slash husband, fiance, whatever he says, I don't even remember. I'm so just focused on the fact that he would need a woman that would tolerate his unemployment, that would understand that because of his charge, it's so difficult to get a job, and every time, eventually if you're a crybaby, because Lorne's a crybaby, the person you're with is going to call it out. They're going to see it. So the tears, they wouldn't work all the time. And what happens when the tears no longer work? Ramona, get that son of a bitch! That's going to happen. What's the matter, Jamie? You don't care about me anyway. Lorne, you're such a baby. He's going to need a woman who's going to tolerate him not having a job, not having any money, and spending whatever money they have on frivolous bullshit. Lorne's the guy, and I said this before, if he wants to make a movie, he's going to go out and buy all of the equipment with no script, no actors, no plan. He's just buying it in case one day he does. That is a dangerous way to live. To see something, impulse buy, which that's what Lorne's all about, especially when he goes to one of these redneck garage sale, junk show, trailer park, shops, and he sees, oh, that's an old Sawzall, don't work, I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna buy it, we're gonna get it to work, baby, you'll see, it's gonna save us tons of money. Money is going to be a big issue for them, big issue, especially if she makes more money than he does. You've seen it, guys that get girlfriends, fiancés, they want them to downgrade. Dark Side Bill, Kat was this beautiful, well, I wouldn't say beautiful. She was pretty on Twitter, and now she's a cave dweller who's not allowed to go out more than one day. And her job is now part-time with barely any hours because she needs to be home to support Phil while he's streaming. The guy is a paranoid, delusional abuser, and you can just see it a mile away. He abuses the people he wants to give him money. Imagine how he treats his wife. Instead of allowing her to go out and get a real job, he's convinced her that there are excuses, that she can't do that anymore. And he wants to tell his viewers, oh, she could only work 20 hours. Lorne would gaslight his wife into believing that she didn't need to work that much. She needed to be home. That would save them a lot of money. No way Lorne is doing dishes or laundry. No way. It would not shock me if he still goes to his mom's, and if he's admitted this before, then I wouldn't be shocked if I heard it. But that he probably goes to his mom's to do his laundry, or maybe to have her do it. Even if she has cancer and she can barely move. Hey, Mom, well, I figured, this would get you up off your feet. You can go ahead and do this laundry, get some exercise in. Lorne, I can't even get up off the bed. Well, see, that's why I brought it over. Give you a reason to. Mom, you're so funny. The way you call me a piece of shit and worthless son. Come on now. He also wouldn't understand when his wife is begging him to change, telling him, I need you to change, Lorne. I can't deal with this anymore. You have to change. Well, that's just who I am, and you're just taking it wrong. Gaslight, gaslight, gaslight. A woman who would never speak to anyone of the opposite sex. If they go out to a restaurant and it's a male waiter, she's not ordering. She's not ordering. He is. Tell me what you want, honey. When he comes back, I'll tell him. I'll take this, and my wife, he'll stress, my girlfriend, that's my girlfriend, she'll take this. And I'm sure whoever it was would look at Lorne and go, oh, okay, buddy. Because there are guys out there, you've seen them. I'm sure some of you have seen them. They order. Their wife does not order. They're the ones who do the ordering. If it's a male host, forget about it. They're the ones telling how many people need it at a booth. Kat doesn't have friends. DSP's wife no longer has friends because that's what abusers do. Her friends that she had before, her support system, gone. Gone. They would come to her trailer and desperately try to get her out of there. Gone. Just like Scientology, you have to run out, climb in somebody's trunk, and they have to floor it while security guards are desperately trying to keep you in the compound against your will. That would be Lorne. He would be ever vigilant. He'd be outside a lot. He'd be looking around to make sure nobody's trying to help her escape. If there was a back door, it's getting shut in. It will no longer be a back door. They will be shut in. The only way she could go out is the front door. All the windows would be locked. Well, I don't know. Lorne has an oscillating fan for a ceiling fan. So maybe he'd have the windows that he want. There'd be a lock system that only he could use to open up those windows. But he would have a keen eye onto her. She would always be cahooting with somebody else. She was going to leave him. Her friends were trying to take her away, and I don't care about what your friends think. They're always down in my ass. He wouldn't care about her family, and we know I talked about what being married to him. His family wouldn't come over. But Lorne would need someone, or his dream girl would be obsessed with him, and he'd be all she ever needed. That's what he wants. Two people focused completely on themselves. And I said if he had a boy son, he'd be upset that his wife was spending more time on their boy son who needs her attention. But you're not giving me any attention. Anyway, I love you and I miss you. He would go on the road after treating her like shit and on an upswing, because when he's out of that situation, if he's driving truck, and he had Roy coming over to check on her, just to check on her, to make sure she's okay, to make sure she's inside, he would call and go, baby, just wanted to leave you a message, honky tonk, and sing one of his terrible songs, leave her a poem, a voicemail poem. God forbid she didn't answer on the first call. Why didn't you answer earlier? I was in the bathroom, Lorne. I've talked to you in the bathroom before. You know him. You must answer when he calls. If she didn't answer a couple times, that rage is not going away. He's going to yell and he's going to scream. She's going to think it's going to be over with. Okay, I'll just weather the storm and this bear will crawl back in his cave. But as soon as he gets home, it's going to come up again. because he's not done. He didn't get the response he wanted. He wants that bipolar, I need you to respond the way I need you to respond in the tone, and you're going to say the words I need. So she'd be in a living hell. She might be allowed to go get groceries, but I think Lorne would have to go with her, and she'd ask for food that she liked. Well, honey, you know, we both ain't going to eat that. Let's get a ham and bologna, and some chicken pot pies, or whatever else he wants. I bet you he cooked when he thought it was going to get him somewhere. You ought to have a cooking show, Lorne. I think Lorne only cooks when he has an audience. At his mom's for Christmas, and like I said, I wouldn't eat anything that disgusting trailer park douchebag had his hands around. People wouldn't even grab rolls. We talked about that if he touched one of them. He only cooks when there's an audience. Well, honey, you got soup in there. Why don't you get some soup for yourself? Go ahead and treat yourself nice. Get some chicken noodle soup. I eat cheap. I don't need a lot, because I don't eat a lot. Well, I mean, I do, but not, I don't eat sugar. I eat stuff that's not going to put weight on, because I know myself. I eat for taste, and that's never good, ever. Lorne would blow up into a fat, lazy slob. Any arm exercises he did would go away, and he'd need a woman that would be okay with that. A woman that would accept him for him and all his faults. He's so dangerous. She would be in hell. He needs a woman devoted to him, willing to take his abuse, willing to accept his apologies, only allowed outside when he's with her, that is okay with not speaking to her parents or her friends. He would monitor who she talked to, what they talked about. He'd want to know what she said, if she said anything negative about him, because he'd want to control how she's portraying him to whoever else. If it was all females, maybe he'd let her go to a book group as long as that female wasn't married and her husband wasn't over there. He needs a prisoner. That's what Lorne needs. A woman willing to be a POW. No woman should ever be around this guy. Anyway, that's my freestyle video for today. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.
Hang on, I can't even catch my breath. Hang on.